doing a quick video on the more peace, global peace, and utopian ideas are discussed and shared in the spirit of Vakyarthasadas, meaning connecting with others to see different dimensions of cosmic truths and perspectives, expanding the heart and the mind with understanding and connection. And the more that people get involved with their one color or hue, meaning I hold the space of a prism, and there is a process to get to that space. And when the light hits the prism, because the prism has no opinion, color, good, bad, ugly, what the fuck, holy shit, shit and diamonds are the same. No preferential treatment, because in the cosmos, they are equal. The cosmos gains nothing from either or in preference. It all exists within the cosmos. So in order to get to that space where when the light hits, all the colors explode out simultaneously, spontaneously, without order, it just comes out however way it comes out at that moment. And so when one color is a religion or a belief system or a lifestyle or a country or whatever, and each shade of that color is that one perspective, and if that one perspective is a vacuum pulling people in because they are seeking, when that seeking reaches its max, that consciousness will start looking at other colors. So if you are in a saffron color hue of the shade of red called Hinduism, and you go and you look at yellow or green or blue or purple or pink or orange or black or white or any color or shade therein, when you go through all the colors at the end, you will hold the space of a prism with the full understanding. That's a mature cognition. So you're going to have to get through the process. If you're going to start looking beyond your shade or your color, meaning your tribe, your hue, your whatever within the whole huge portion of whether you're Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Hawaiian, or whatever. You're going to have to get beyond your Ishta Devata Amakua God and start looking sincerely from the other perspectives just to get to that space. Now, when you start doing that, your peer group going to be pretty possessive and be like, why are you looking at orange? Why are you looking at yellow? Why are you looking at green? Why are you looking at blue? Why are you even looking at purple? Why are you looking at white? Why are you looking at black? Why are you looking at pink? It's the same as when you're like, oh, I'm going to look at an ecosystem and look at the microbes and the worms and the bugs and the different plants and the different insects and the different animals. It's equivalent. You're going to get there. Now, what we're talking about is consciousness exploration or human consciousness exploration when it comes to religion or philosophies or ideologies. So the more that those discussions happen to get to that place of a prism without attachment to your shade or color, and hold the space of a prism, which I cordially invite you to join me in having that space of a prism of no opinion, no preference, just understanding and connection. Now, I encourage you to have full faith and confidence in the power of your seeking for truth, your truth. But I will share that it takes not giving two shits about other people's possessiveness and be like, brah, I go and look at and be friends with whoever I choose to be friends with. Nobody has a right to insert themselves between me and what I am seeking, or what you can call as God. Nobody has a right. It's as unique as our fingerprints. Nobody can tell you who is God, by what name, or what experience that is. You can only know what is your integrity and align to such, and ensure that which does not align to that integrity is removed from your space. Not to say that there is right and wrong. There's only right fits. That which is not your integrity that you have found has a right to exist somewhere else with whoever that matches vibrationally. Doesn't mean that you need to adopt and live those truths. And besides, I believe in reincarnation. We only have one life. We all only have 24 hours in a day. And I can only align to my integrity. If I have whims and fancies to live some other lifestyle, I can choose to go do that in my next life with full integrity. So obliterating any lifestyle is actually going to war with cosmos, because it has the right to exist. So stay in your lane, okay? Stay in your lane, meaning including darshans, channeling. Stay in your lane. I'm proposing ISKCON to be the one to channel Darshan Krishna, and those who vibe with that should go and do that and live there and express that. And same as Ayodhya, Rama should be channeled and lived there by that head guru, or whatever their construct is, whatever that is. And if Swamiji is building Kailasa, I encourage as such, so that there is less confusion. Now, teaching. Now, the main issue is globally in all of these thought forms, ideologies, religions, whatever, not teaching about Advaita, meaning the consciousness ecosystem of different consciousnesses, is the main problem, right? That's the main problem. So I am aspiring for a global peace treaty on the foundation of love with gratitude, inclusivity of diversity, and helping people stay in their lane. Advaita meaning infinity, not just oneness. Because God is not one. God is oneness. But Advaita is infinity, leaving room for permutation, combination, mutations, which is a cosmic truth of anyone encountering ideas or even genetic mutations through what is that? Marriage and family and posterity and children. Children are their unique selves. They're a blend of their parents, or those that which have influenced them, especially as they get older. They are not just a genetic blend of their parents, but also the masters in which that they studied under. And that's why whether it's Swamiji or me have infinite number of gurus. And for me, I am the only way to keep the mind soft and youthful and young is to continuously sit at the feet of different people who are masters of which that they do, right? I'm a master of which that I do, and others are a master at which that they do. That's what they choose to pick up. We can't be a master of everything, right? Only that which sparks joy in our heart can we actually be master of that, right? And so for me, I love to study not just culture, their spiritual practices, and try them to keep my power manifesting mind young and flexible, and with that full understanding and actual real heart to heart connection with those. Yeah, my dear brothers and sisters who are attempting global peace talks, it's not even a dialogue. If you're not going to have the courage to talk about treaties or contracts, and there's only slaves and masters, or slaves and sovereigns, and inserting oneself between God and the other, don't have the audacity to bait and switch people, because they don't know what they don't know, but they know vibrationally. So that's why I say what I say. Global Peace Treaty is the only actual and factual humanitarian law, not some book written by some guy or some talks people are trying to have for postured image of ego, essentially, pretty much. So that's how it came out. And yeah, Admiralty law are constructs that have this. And what I'm talking about is not just a global peace treaty, but another construct that is very much able to be made, where a global real estate registry is there. So we all actually become a global neighborhood. So no one can kick you out of your home at gunpoint and move right in, no matter where you are in the world. Stability, security, peace, and commitment. And the Global Peace Treaty probably needs to be on an individually signed basis too. So I've been saying that and just whatever, but that's probably what it needs to be. Yep. This is a cordial invitation to Swamiji and the Nityananda Sangha in a very deep and dynamic Vakyarthasadas to consider that, to me, from my perspective, that since Swamiji is building Kailasa and not Gopala or Ayodhya or any of the other Sampradaya lineages that do exist on Bhuloka, planet Earth, that those darshans and channeling be given back to those spaces, places, for pure integrity, and those who have preference for Krishna or Rama or any other lineage sampradaya who have existing infrastructure to start moving there and align accordingly, so that Kailasa can be built properly just my humble opinion, and just, right, the integrity, living the integrity from the spiritual side to the physical side. So my proposal, based off of what I can gather and tell, and I don't know everything, that ISKCON should be entrusted with channeling Krishna and maintaining that lifestyle with full integrity, as well as Ayodhya, which is recently open again, should be channeling Rama and that lifestyle. And so just some thoughts for integrity, living the integrity with that commitment to that integrity of multidimensionalism, so that Swamiji can be empowered with full authentic integrity to build Kailasa. Kailasa is not Gopala or Vaikuntha or Ayodhya. Kailasa is Kailasa. So in your seeking, and you go sit at any guru's feet or any kind of feet, or look at any kind of scripture of whatever and whatever. Yeah, in Hinduism, they're like, oh, you have this problem, but we get this mantra for that. Oh, you get that problem? Okay, you get this mantra for that, or this homa, or this whatever. But you gotta look into what's not being said. So I'm gonna tell you and fill you in with what's not being said. From my perspective, and this is how I explain it, there's no one mantra better than the other. The reason why is because there was a big family feud over my grandpa, who manifested everything, property, business, what you name it, protected by the Amida Buddha chanting Nami Amida Butsu. And then along comes my stepdad, who's just like, no, that's not how. You're supposed to be chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. And the whole family home generations that's built on the protections of Amida Buddha is still ravaged by this spiritual war that I had to come to. And that deep seeking the pain, what is it? So I'm going to tell you it and what's not being said. Alright? I don't care what mantra you use. You can use bibbidi bobbidi boo, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, open sesame. Use whatever you want. It's not what you chant, it's your context and intention, what is in here to where it's going, which fundamentally is your future self. I don't care what mantra you use. Use that which gives you sparks of joy, the spine of confidence and courage that is your truth. And just rock on, rock star.
What kind of people will wake up in the morning to go and make weapons to kill other people? Are you okay? You come to Africa, you dig up the whole place and leave mining dumps, poisoning rivers with cyanide, only to bring the gold and put it in a warehouse somewhere here you call a vault. You come to Africa, you kill animals, only to collect the horns and leaving the meat to rot on the ground. Are you okay? And then when they see us putting on skins like this, they want to look like they're conservationists. No, you can't be putting on animal skins, but you're sitting on a leather chair with leather shoes, with a leather belt. Are you okay in your head? With a leather car. What kind of hypocrisy is that? You pollute the whole world with carbon. Then you come around and say, please, let's do some green energy. Shut your industries up if you're talking about green energy. You have lied to us for too long. And the honeymoon of lies It's over.
I gonna tell you what kind of person wakes up every day to make weapons of mass destruction to kill everybody and everybody. Babies born from arranged marriage, rape, enslavement, all those things that are rampant. Because why? Either they don't get an answer of why they were born, because all babies ask how are babies born. They're not asking how babies are born. They're asking how they were born. You're either going to set your life up and the future with love stories or scientific explanations of disdain, because there's no love, just quote unquote responsibility, which is imposed. You can take responsibility. Yeah, love. You'll get to love through responsibility, but it's gonna be like gratitude, gratitude, gratitude versus taking responsibility because you love and that love is taking care. That's a love story. The other, that's why. Those are the ones. So those babies grow up thinking, oh, okay, I'm gonna focus on science or whatever, instead of focusing on love. That's who wakes up every day going to work to make weapons, desecrate the planet, and kill everybody. Aloha, ladies. This is why I love Snapchat. So how do we know that one, our person, is the one? That's the one to marry, to have babies with. You gotta wait. You gotta wait and pray. Because in my journey, for me, I accept Shiva and Devi or Shakti as my cosmic mother and father, who are the first love marriage, and that's my birthright. And so I've been praying and being like, because no attachment to who, what, where, when, why, and how. No attachment. Because it's about cosmic flow. And you just wait. No hanky-panky, no insinuating hanky-panky, that kind of stuff. None of that, okay? You just pray and wait. And the one literally will make your womb smile, a big smile, and the egg will blissfully bubble out. You wait for that one, okay? That's how you know that's the one. And then with umbilical cord initiation, for everyone to live powers from day one without discrimination, bias, or qualification. Because it's simply given forgotten by mother, and you just love your babies. That's worth waiting for. And babies always ask, how are babies born? They're not asking for the science. They want to know the love story of how they happened. Wait for that. That's bringing bliss babies to this planet to make it better. Blissfully. Just bliss and love, because only love exists when you're willing to wait. That's how you know that's the one, ladies. And only women protect women. And as a divine mother, on behalf of all divine mothers and the divine mother, I love you. Liberation from illusory, delusory, fantasy relations is liberation itself. And if it requires for you to cut, rip, burn everything not you or yours, so that alignment, actual alignment can happen, that's liberation. And so, just as there are infinite ways for third eye and Kundalini to be initiated, there's infinite, including spontaneous. Equally, knowing when your person is to have family and children with, there are equally infinite ways of that expression. So one that I shared was when your uterus will have this big smile and an egg will blissfully bubble out. There are those who actually hear the downloaded song of the child that is waiting to come to planet Earth through them. There are infinite ways. And so there's no one way. There is your way. And when you trust in that prayer for that manifestation and unfolding for you without any hanky-panky or verbal hanky-panky, because when you do those things, it confuses you as well as allows men who are not qualified and are still boys to have that kind of commitment required to have a family. And that's where, kind of like how monkeys, when they try to give money and then all of a sudden it's a devolved order, that's fundamentally what's happening even to humans. You should go look into that, what happens to monkeys when taught about money, and then why they stopped their money system.
This verse, if you understand, without the manipulation, interpolation, the alternative style of reading, without adding the idea of consciousness into it, because nowhere the verse even remotely as a word, nowhere this verse as a word which can be even remotely translated as consciousness. No. It's only very clearly saying, Shrotrasya Shrotram Manaso Manoyat, Vachoha Vacham Savu Pranasya Pranaha, Chakshus Chakshuhu Atimushya Dhiraha, Pretyas Mallokat Amrita Bhavanti. If you retain the purity of this verse, you will understand the answer which Upanishad is trying to give through this verse is pure questioning, going on and on and on, unclutching, going on and on and on into completion.
For more updates, subscribe and follow us on social media.